So now it is that your girl's recorded. Let's go ahead and let's jump into this next reaction, shall we? Now, Cloud, shout out to you. Down bad guy self deletes after caught gooning in drive-through. And I had a couple people in this that asked me to talk about with this, but I wasn't too in knowledge of like what this was about per se before it is I was to speak on it. So without further ado, let's get into this video, shall we?
Hi, how are you? Good. Have you been here before?
Yeah.
Sir, you need to leave. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Call 911.
My brother in Christ, you saw the camera. You could at least try to pull your pants back up.
What is going on with society, bro?
Like, bro, we so cooked, bro. So the guy you just see, his name is Nautica Malone. And apparently one day he was horny and he decided to go to his favorite restaurant establishment, coffee shop, aka Bikini Bottom, which is basically a Hooters version of Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. It's weird. We're gonna get to that in a second. He decided he wanted some coffee, but he likes a little white stuff in his coffee. And to generate
He likes a little bit of what? A little bit of what?
that little white stuff, he has to do a special ritual, aka jerk off. But the ritual he wanted to do is better done in private, in the comfort of your bed or bathroom, with the lights off and nobody else in the vicinity. But certain weirdos like doing this ritual with people in the room, and to those people, as long as the other people are consensual and okay about it, which most likely they're not, do your own thing. You're just a weirdo at yourself. But other people like doing it without the consent of other people because it just gets them off more, and it just makes the secretion or ritual and the secretion and the substance from the ritual just way better to them in the moment, until after the ritual and they realize what they have done. But we'll get to that later. So Mr. Nautica here, he decided that he wanted to do this ritual, which he most likely he does every single day, even though he has a wife and kids. But he doesn't care about the wife and kids. He cares about this special ritual. So what he does is he pulls up to his favorite coffee place where the girls are dressed very, very skimpishly, the butt cheeks out, the titties hanging. You know, it's basically a strip club that serves coffee. I ain't gonna lie. But here's the issue. He likes his coffee with the substance that is...
He said, can we not make No Nut November a thing anymore? I feel like people would do No Nut November and not even realize what the real purpose was for it for. That's why it is. It's like, okay. It's kind of laughable when it is. I hear it because unless if it is you're doing it for what it actually stands for, then it's like, okay, cool. But if you're just doing it to be like, oh man, oh my God, I feel no November. And it's only just like day one, not even like maybe like 12 minutes into November. It's stuff like that is just like, all right.
Made from performing the ritual. But here's the catch: it is very looked down upon to perform the ritual in public, especially around people who don't consent. But this guy's a weirdo, so he doesn't care, and he comes up with a grand idea to just do both at the same time, aka jerk his meat off while getting the coffee, most likely to the very skimpily dressed girl who is serving him the coffee. And once he finishes, he can pour this substance into his coffee, stir it up a little bit, and enjoy the rest of his drink, and just enjoy his day. But the girl who was giving him this coffee had different intentions in mind. Let me break it down. See, at this coffee place, Bikini Bottom, it's very common for this special ritual to be done before the customers receive their coffee. I don't know why these people just love this special substance along with their coffee, but they just do. And apparently at this point, the workers got tired of it. So what they decided to start doing is record anybody who they suspect to be doing this ritual, expose them, call the cops, and get these people arrested like they deserve to be. And this is exactly what happened in this clip I just showed you. Nautica was performing the ritual, smiles and all, pants all the way down to the floor, and he was about ready to receive his special substance. You realize the girl was recording there. Oh no, operation failed, time to drive off, screwed off, and never be seen again. And hopefully my wife and kids never see this video. Oh, well, 2 days later, he realized he was the #1 trending topic on Twitter and Facebook. And the Facebook is especially bad because the Facebook moms, they don't ever let up. When they find a weirdo, you will be childish. And that's exactly what happened. Everybody was on the internet clowning this guy, calling him a weirdo, a creep, disgusting, calling for him to get arrested, which I'm not finna lie, all of those things should happen because he is a weirdo for doing this. He didn't care about nobody else except his own self and his own pleasure. This is what
My thing is, it's just like, I'm not a guy. I don't have the anatomy. So maybe y'all can able to explain, but I don't understand how it is like I get it if you're going through puberty, it is like sometimes it is like, you know, it has a mind of its own and it just wants to go ahead and just shoot up. Sure. But I don't understand how it is like you're in line into coffee and like broad daylight, your pants to your ankles, and you're just spanking it in the car. You mean to tell me it is just the thought of like going to a coffee place, a Hooters type coffee place, and just the level of excitement has just taken over your levels of irrationality or your rationality mind. Is like I just don't understand that. How do you get excited off of that? It's just like, oh yeah, I can't wait, and just start getting to spanking. Like that's, I'm confused. I am confused in chat. But then again, like I said, I don't have the anatomy, so I really don't understand. He said when you're excited, you got to deposit it somewhere. Yeah, but I want you to understand is if you do this publicly, you will be on the registry. You know, if he was still alive, I should say, he would have been on the registry. Hey, I have sense. This is why you get car shades. Why did I hear the little boots in my mind when it is that you said this, bro? But to be honest with you, I do feel like it is like granted, I don't know what is the level of qualifications of how much it is you should be spanking as a man, but if you are going as far as doing this publicly, like you in the car, you getting caught and stuff like that, there's a serious lining problem there. Okay, there is. Even if you're spanking it too much and you at home, that is a problem too. Because it's just like I understand that most biologically, most men need to release out that level of testosterone anyway. I get that, but when you are, when you are just you can't go without the day without spanking. That's a bit of a concern for me. Or without sex, neither, because there is such a thing as being addicted to sex or addicted to spanking. A lot of that stuff does come from sometimes that is oh, and it's not a high sex drive. A lot of I will tell you this: high sex drives are usually due to the fact of depression. Sex addicts, high sex drives are usually linked to high levels of depression. Now depression can have its own different things, like you know what I mean, like there's own different levels of stuff, but it's usually linked to something, or it's usually linked to wanting to feel something because sex is probably like the most submission it is you could possibly like do with another person. So let alone it is you're doing like oral and stuff like that. That's the most submissive thing it is that a woman or a man could ever do to another being. So when it is that you desire this so much, a lot of it is linked to levels of either abandonment or there's some stuff within like childhood and stuff like that. You know, you can have a wife and kids and stuff, and you can still not be happy with a particular person because that may have not been the person you ultimately wanted to be with. It just so happens it is, hey, I was smashing this person, they got pregnant, and I did the right thing by getting married and, you know, taking care of my responsibilities. But ultimately, does that mean it is a person is happy with the outcome? No. I can tell you there's a lot of people it is that are in long-term relationships or married and they're not happy with their partner. You know, because that mentally it is they was not prepared for that. When you are not prepared for those things within life, you end up getting married to the wrong person. You know, you said it couldn't be me, and not you, Babs, but yeah, like you know, not everybody could have that luxury of just being like, oh no, I know that this is the person I want to be with. Sometimes it is you feel that, and then feelings can change, or organically that was not the person you wanted to be with to begin with, but it just stuff just happens, you know?
What you get when you do weird things like this. Here's where the story goes south. See, Nautica seen all the backlash that was going on the interwebs. He's seen people calling him out. Apparently his friends and family started to find out. His wife started to find out. And he kind of seen the writing on the wall of what his life will be from now on. And his life is basically cooked. So instead of seeking help in therapy and being a man about the situation and pushing it through and just taking the embarrassment on the chest and just, you feel me, moving on with his life eventually, not just for himself, but for his wife and kid, he decided to take the easy way out and self-delete. Pussy, 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 pussy. And I don't care what you say, that is pussy. Now, I truly want to say this right now. Rest in peace.
Don't, let's not do that with people that is, you know, because that by itself, that's a very serious thing. Because I want this to be understood. It is that men have the higher chance of pursuing through that than women do. Like, we may think it, but a lot of times it is we don't go through that because of the fact that it is, you know, like men actually go full throttle with stuff like this. This is why it is that I take that very seriously when it comes down to this, because I've had a friend, I know plenty of people, but I had a friend that hit me with a, you know, Ari, I love you, gang, and I had to pull up on him at like 3, 4 in the morning and stop it from happening. So this is why like ever since that it's always been like a thing that's like, that scares me, you know, when you've dealt with that before, or you've had those levels of feelings yourself before, you know, even when people jokingly say it is a self-delete, I hate when people say that too, because it's like, oh, stop that, and stop that, you know what I mean? Now, do I feel like it's the easy way out? No, it's not, because you still have to deal with, like, the family or the people around you still have to deal with the burden of what it is. So I think this is probably why people wanted me to speak on it. But yeah, I mean, there's no easy way to, unfortunately, with this. I unfortunately. Like, you know, it's sticky.
Peace
It's a sticky situation.
And condolences to all of his family. But as a man, when you mess up, you have to live with your consequences. I understand that Nautica probably thought his life was over. I mean, when situations usually happen like this, people don't just harass you, they harass your family, your friends. Hell, they'll get you fired from your job. In all actuality, his life was probably cooked. At the same time, you have a kid at home, you have friends and family who care about you. And even though they may have thought you were weird, at the same time, there's always a road to redemption if you actually change your ways.
Right.
And at the same time, if they don't, I mean, you gotta face the consequences of your actions, bro. Like, what are we talking about, bro? This is life. You can't do some weirdo stuff like that, think you finna get away with it, and then when you get caught, skirt off and just take the easy way out. Like, what are we talking about? That's pussy. I'm sorry, I just gotta say it. It is even more because you have a kid. Did you not think about what would happen to your kid? Not only is your kid now growing up without a father, they also have to feel the embarrassment and guilt and just shame and just horrible feelings when they find out why their dad unalived himself and how he didn't care enough about his family to stop himself from doing it. Do you understand what you're doing to your child? And again, the man is dead, so I don't want to harp on him too much. I really don't like speaking ill will of the dead, but at the same time, I call out stuff when I see it. And I just want to be clear when I say this. I don't think anybody's perfect. Hell, I'm for sure not perfect. Like, anybody can tell you that. And I'm not trying to bash this man because I feel like he's disgusting. I'm bashing this man because he's not being a man. He chose a selfish decision. One of the hardest parts about being a man is having to deal with the consequences of your actions most of the time with nobody's help. And that's a sad reality we all have to go through, but at the same time, that's why we are made how we are. That's why we are mentally tougher. We had to figure things out in the worst situations. That's just how we were developed, how God intended us to be. So seeing somebody mess up like this, okay, bro, I'm not finna lie, very disgusting, but we've all done very disgusting things. Not to that extent. I'm not finna sympathize or say what he did was anything. No. We don't do that. But we've all done some things that were probably very disgusting. Probably we shouldn't have done them. And if those things had been recorded, our lives would probably be cooked too. So on that note, even though what he did is weird, disgusting, he should have gotten embarrassed first from that. We are all humans. We all mess up. We all make horrible mistakes because of being horny or being selfish or doing weird things. We're all bad people at the core. But what makes us human is coming back from our mistakes. Yeah, you got a little bit horny one night and you jerked off like 5 times. Tomorrow, you gotta wake up and go to work at 9 a.m. No matter how unmotivated you have to do, that's the consequence. Making bad decisions and dealing with your consequences so you don't make those same bad decisions over and over again. And even though the decision he made was truly horrible, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how I would come back from it. I would figure out a way because I'm a man and a human being. And that's what he should have did. Especially if I had a kid. Like, how could you do that? And another point I've been seeing on the internet is people saying, oh, I feel bad for him because I had the internet, you backlash. And I do. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a content creator. I've received hate before. It's not fun. It's really not.
Wait, let me go back to that. If any of my friends or family seen the video of my son, Nautica, please report it ASAP. My family and I will seriously appreciate it. We're going through enough. We really need to catch this person as soon as possible and make them pay for what they did to my son. No, what is wrong is she's on her phone while on shift, and on top of that, why is she looking inside a customer's car? That's not her property. Her job is to get the food and hand it. That's it. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Oh man, that's sticky. That's sticky. That's a little sticky. I can understand the mother's point of view because that's her son, regardless it is of like the decision that he made. You know, all the people or the person it is that you give the unconditional love to is your children. You know, that's what it should be, regardless to the whatever actions it is they do. But to be politically correct, what this person said at the bottom, technically speaking, it is he's not wrong. However, it doesn't make it right that he was with his pants down to his ankles spanking in a drive-through at an establishment. You know what I mean? Publicly. That's still wrong at the end of the day. It's that man. Ooh, that's sticky. That's very sticky. It's a set of tweets right there.
Not gonna lie, I'm a content creator. I've received hate before. It's not fun. It's really not fun. And especially in the manner that his stuff went viral, it would have ruined his life. It really would have. At the same time, you can always bounce back. The worst thing that can happen is him losing his job, his wife divorcing him, and his friends distancing themselves from him. Of course, he will get fired too. He'll be put on the sexual offender registry most likely, in the worst case scenario, and it will be a long road to redemption. But hey, that is why you don't jerk off to women unconsensually in public. And if you need something to hold on to, bro, hold on to God. Hold on to something like that. Hold on to something bigger than yourself. Use whatever you need to as a crutch and get your way back to the top. But always give appreciation for what that crutch you used. Unless you're like Hitler or something. I don't know about that. And he for sure could have bounced back, but now we will never know because he decided to take the easy way out. So my main message with this video, y'all, don't give up. You can always come back. You can always redeem yourself. You can always be forgiven. Life is just about making mistakes and coming back from it. You can always come back for something. And if you don't think you can, well, why did you do the damn thing in the first place? Now, I also could talk about the lust factor about this whole thing. How this guy's horny, bricked eye, whatever. But everybody's been talking about that. We all know that, you feel me? Being this horny is a bad thing. One thing I'll add to this, though, is that to all the people who jerk off consistently, like 3 to 4 times a week or maybe even every single day, I'm telling you, you don't see the side effects of that right now. But once you turn 25, 24, and you practice those habits every single day, this is what you could eventually become. You jerk off consistently, or even if you're just cracking consistently, busting nuts on the regular, doing stuff on the regular, your brain gets used to that dopamine that you're getting from that. If you don't know what dopamine means, you're basically getting used to that feeling. That's why if you jerk off a lot, you start liking weirder stuff. You want more dopamine. You'll go.
That's also another thing it is I was gonna lead into is the people it is that are constantly spanking. It's gonna be very hard for when it is you come across like a partner, like it's and they're trying to like, you know, they're trying to please you, but like now they got to do all this extra weird stuff because that's what you get off to, and it's unrealistic, bro. And which is why it isn't like, you know, some people will go as far as saying it is that corn videos you know, it disrupts what people think or what sex is. And I do agree to that. I, I do agree to that because at that rate, it is just like, you got to have this particular body or you have to have this particular stamina or you got to be this big um, in order to like please your partner and stuff. And it's base by base. Everybody's different. But unless if and plus even like the workers it is that do that content, you know what I mean, they get paid to do that, that's their job. But you can't do that all the time though, like chemically speaking. It's like the same dopamine it is like we get from like eating candy and sugar and all this other stuff. So if you're constantly craving that level of that fix or that like that chemical release, it like you will start going to much lengths in order to get to that point. And I mean, I've seen people with different levels of kinks. I don't ever want to sit there and say in the lines of like shaming and people, but some of these kinks is egregious. Okay, so some of these kinks it is that you should not be saying out loud. It is that that's what you like. Okay, some of them is a bit off the wall. Okay, some people just like some normal stuff, and then you want to go real deep into like some real weird stuff. You know what I mean? You'll eventually become a Diddy stage threat. Basically, yeah, like at that point, it's just like nothing normal will please you. You got to go down to the levels of doing all types of stuff, you know what I mean? Like nah.
Go from liking vanilla stuff to hardcore stuff. I've seen it happen with other people.
And once you get to that mentality, you're cooked. You're on the Diddy path now.
And it may not always turn into the gay Diddy stuff, but sometimes it will turn into the in public stuff, the against their will stuff, the P stuff. And for some people, it will be the in real life against their consent and the coffee stuff.
That's why I'm telling y'all, bro,
Be very careful. I'm not finna give y'all unrealistic expectation by telling y'all just to go cold turkey. Y'all not finna do that. But at least monitor it. You should not be jerking off more than 2 times a week. I'm just keeping it real. If you are, you got a problem. You shouldn't honestly be.
Listen, like I said, I'm staying within my feminine little corner here because I don't know what the statistic number for how many times it is you're supposed to be doing that. I just know it is that men do need to release biologically. I know it is that they need to release a certain number. I don't know what that is, okay? And by far, y'all don't have to tell me. Okay, y'all do not need to go into details to be like, oh yeah, nah, like 2 times a week. I'm normally like 4, 5. I don't need to know. Trust me. Do not tell me.
Jerking off more than
Do
4
not
times
tell
a
me.
week. If you do, you got a problem.
honestly, this is all I have to say about this situation. Prayers out to his family. It's really sad that this happened, but at the same time, actions have consequences. Take that how you will. I know I'm finna get hate for this video. It is what it is. That's just my opinion. Besides that, stay safe. God bless y'all, and just be smart, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Jesus always loves you. Besides that, we out. Love y'all. Thank you. And we goodbye.
Also, go follow my.
Oh my goodness, bro. He said, you in your feminine space, I'm in my yeet space. Gang, you have a problem. Okay? Like you wholeheartedly have like an addiction to this man, bro. The 3 or 4 times a week is normal, but don't read it. All right, this man is sick. Is yeet straight? Listen, you're asking the wrong questions. But Cloud, shout outs to you. Thank you so much for the video. I know a couple people wanted me to speak on this topic. Shout outs to y'all in the chat. And shout outs to you at home. I will catch y'all in the next video.